There is a battlefield inside you, a war waged every moment of your life, not with fists, not with weapons, but with thoughts. Because every thought is a decision to build or destroy, a decision to lead or to follow, a decision to rise or to stay down. Most people lose the war before the day even begins. They wake up and immediately hand control to the world, to the noise, to the headlines, to the whispers of self-doubt that have been playing on loop for years. They let their thoughts drift, not realizing that drift is death to destiny. Because drift creates habits. Habits create identity, and identity shapes everything. If you do not master your thoughts will master you. And a life led by undisciplined thinking is a life sentenced to smallness. It's not just about what you do, it's about what you think before you do it. Because thought is the blueprint of behavior. Think of the greats. Edison in his lab, failing thousands of times but never quitting. Do you think his body kept him going? No, it was his mind. Ford, when they told him the assembly line would never work. Do you think he succeeded because the world encouraged him? No, it was his mind. Disney, when he was fired for lack of imagination. Do you think he built an empire because it was easy? No, it was his mind. Lincoln, standing alone in a divided nation, burdened by the weight of impossible decisions. Do you think he persevered because of applause? No, it was his mindset. The difference between the legendary and the forgotten is not talent. It's not luck. It's thought control. Master your thoughts, and you master your life. Ignore your thoughts, and they become the chains that keep you average. Every great invention started as an idea. Every fortune started as a vision. Every empire started as a thought, held long enough, believed deeply enough, acted on relentlessly enough to become reality. But most people don't think. They react. They replay the same mental programs over and over again. They let fear steer. They let doubt dictate. They let the past define the future. And they wonder why life feels like repetition. The truth is this. Your mind is either your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy. And you choose which one it becomes. The first step is awareness. Start noticing your thoughts, not judging them, not fearing them, but watching them. Catch yourself in the act of limitation. When you say, I can't, I'm not ready, I'll probably fail. Pause. Interrupt the pattern. Because those thoughts aren't facts. They're just familiar. Familiarity is not truth. It's just comfort in disguise. And comfort is not your goal. Growth is. Growth happens when you stop living at the mercy of your mental default settings. When you stop letting past programming predict your future performance. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't plant flowers, weeds grow by default. Neglect is still a choice. Passive thinking still creates outcomes. If you don't choose thoughts of strength, courage, discipline, vision, your mind will choose fear, hesitation, weakness, and chaos for you. You cannot let the world write your internal script. Most people are programmed by the media, by gossip, by the opinions of small thinkers who never built anything. But builders, real builders, know that greatness starts inside first. Before the product, before the company, before the masterpiece, before the speech, the movement, the legacy. It starts in the mind. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need more mental clarity. Clarity is power. And clarity comes from cleaning out the noise in your mind. Who do you want to become? What do you stand for? What are you building? These are not casual questions. They are the foundation of thought mastery. Once you decide who you are, your mind starts filtering the world through that lens. You stop asking, can I? You start asking, how will I? You stop entertaining the idea of failure as a conclusion. Failure becomes information, not identity. You stop thinking in terms of limitations and start thinking in terms of creation. That's how the greats think. They don't see obstacles as walls. They see them as doors. They don't hear impossible. They hear untried. They don't waste energy worrying about things they can't control. They spend it mastering the one thing they can control, their mind. Discipline is the bridge between thought and action. It's not enough to think positive, it's not enough to visualize. You must act on your thoughts until they become part of your behavior, until action feels natural because your mind expects nothing less. Think of your mind like a thermostat. Most people live at a low setting. They get comfortable there. They believe that's just who they are. But you can change the setting. You can raise the temperature of your expectations, your energy, your discipline. And when you do, your actions adjust to match. Mastering your thoughts doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you choose courage anyway. It doesn't mean you never feel doubt. It means you act before doubt decides for you. It doesn't mean you're always confident. It means you've trained your mind to move regardless of mood. Mood is fleeting, discipline is forever. Most people ask, how do I stay motivated? That's the wrong question. Motivation is unreliable. It's a mood, and moods are soft. What you need is mental conditioning, daily thought training. The same way you train a muscle, you train your mind. Repetition builds reputation with yourself. When you think disciplined thoughts and then act on them consistently, your mind starts believing you, and belief turns into identity. And identity is where transformation happens. This is not about tricking yourself into false positivity. It's about leading your mind like a commander leads troops, with vision, with strategy, with purpose. You don't let the mind wander wherever it wants. You direct it, because where the mind goes, life follows. Your life today is the product of thoughts you repeated yesterday. Your life tomorrow will be the product of thoughts you master today. Thoughts are not random. They are trained behaviors. Most people think they're victims of their thoughts, but the truth is, they're victims of their mental habits. If you constantly think in fear, your life will reflect fear. If you constantly think in scarcity, your life will reflect scarcity. If you constantly think in weakness, your life will reflect weakness. But if you decide, right now, that your thoughts will serve you, not sabotage you, you can rewrite the entire trajectory of your life. Imagine a captain steering a ship. If the wheel turns even 1 degree to the right, the ship's destination changes completely over time. Your thoughts are the wheel. One thought may seem small, one moment of self-discipline may feel insignificant, but over days, months, years, those small shifts change the entire course of your life. If you don't take control of your thoughts, you will drift, and drift always leads to the rocks. Drift always leads to regret. Drift is the enemy of greatness. So how do you master your thoughts? You become the gatekeeper of your mind. You decide what gets in and what stays out. You reject garbage. You filter negativity. You don't let social media, headlines, or gossip program your brain. You choose inputs that build strength, clarity, vision, and power. What are you feeding your mind daily? Because just like the body, the mind becomes what you feed it. Feed it junk, you get mental weakness. Feed it strength, you get mental resilience. It's not complicated, but it is a decision you must make every day. Start your morning by programming your thoughts before the world gets a chance to program them for you. Speak your vision aloud. Write your goals. Sit in silence and listen to the leader within you, not the critic, not the doubter, but the commander. You do not negotiate with your old patterns. You break them. You do not tolerate low standards in your thinking. You upgrade them. You do not dwell on failure. You extract the lesson and move on. The past has no power unless you keep bringing it into the present. You don't live there anymore. Stop sending mail to old addresses. Your mind must become a tool for creation, not a storage unit for limitations. You don't keep replaying what went wrong. You build what can go right. Most people get stuck in loops. The loop of, what if it fails? The loop of, what will they think? The loop of, who am I to do this? But loops are just mental habits, and habits can be rewired. The next time a negative thought arises, don't try to suppress it. Don't pretend it's not there. Face it, name it, then replace it. I'm not ready becomes, I'm preparing as I move. I'm not good enough becomes, I'm growing stronger daily. I can't do this becomes, I'll figure it out or die trying. Your mind will believe whatever you consistently tell it. So speak like a builder, not a bystander. Speak like a leader, not a victim. Speak like someone who commands reality, not someone who reacts to it. You must protect your mental space like you protect your home. You wouldn't let a thief in the front door. So why let destructive thoughts take residence in your mind? Evict them. Replace them with thoughts that serve your mission, not sabotage it. Mental mastery is not about controlling every thought that arises. It's about choosing which ones you feed and which ones you starve. Energy flows where attention goes. Focus on fear, fear grows. Focus on discipline, discipline grows. It's not magic, it's mechanics. The mind is a machine. Use it wisely, or it will use you. This is how high achievers operate. They don't waste time doubting. They don't burn energy worrying about things outside their control. They focus on what they can build, shape, mold, and create from the inside out. They understand that life happens through you, not to you. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world, and the reflection starts with thought. Visualization is not just imagination, it's rehearsal. When you picture the life you want, you are not pretending. You are pre-programming your mind to move in that direction. The subconscious doesn't care if what you tell it is real or imagined. It just accepts repetition. So if you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm stuck," your mind will find ways to keep you stuck. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm unstoppable," your mind will find ways to make you unstoppable. The mind is neutral. It becomes whatever you decide to plant inside it. Plant strength, harvest power. Plant fear, harvest limitation. This is not about pretending life is easy. Life will challenge you. But the mind decides whether a challenge is a wall or a stepping stone. When something goes wrong, average thinkers say, "Why me?" Masters of thought say, "What is this teaching me?" When life gets hard, average thinkers say, "This is too much." Masters of thought say, "This is the level where growth happens." You don't get to choose every circumstance, but you always choose your response. And the quality of your life will match the quality of your thinking. Purpose is not something you find, it's something you decide. Vision is not something you hope for. It's something you hold in your mind until the world bends toward it. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build through mental command. The leaders who change the world are not superhuman. They are super intentional about what they think. They choose thoughts that align with greatness, not mediocrity. They choose thoughts that serve the mission, not the mood. And you can do the same. No one is coming to clean up your mental space for you. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your power. Master your thoughts. Master your life. There's a reason the mind is called the first battlefield. Because before you win in the world, you must first win in your mind. Before you build the business, you build the belief. Before you achieve the goal, you architect the mindset. The world follows the blueprint you design in silence, in the moments when no one is watching, in the hours when no one is clapping. It's easy to celebrate when life rewards you, but the mind must be built for the moments when it doesn't. The moments when no one believes in you yet. The moments when the results don't show up fast enough. The moments when self-doubt creeps in like a shadow. That's where mental mastery matters most. Not in comfort, but in chaos. Not when it's easy, but when it's excruciating. Because success is forged in the storm, not in the sun. Most people flinch at discomfort. But those who master their mind lean into it. They use challenge as the training ground. They use pressure as the sharpening stone. Adaptability is the mark of mental mastery. When the world changes, weak minds crumble. Strong minds pivot. They ask better questions. They reframe the narrative. They don't say, "Why is this happening to me?" They say, "How can I use this?" Growth happens at the edge of resistance. When you face a challenge, your mind has two options: contract or expand, collapse or evolve. Most people default to contraction. They shrink, they avoid, they procrastinate. But masters of thought do the opposite. They expand into the discomfort. They embrace the edge because they know that's where life changes. Your life is not limited by external factors. It is limited by internal ceilings you have placed on your mind. Ceilings that say, I'm not that type of person. I've never done that before. I'm too old, too young, too late. But ceilings are just stories, and stories can be rewritten. History remembers the ones who rewrote their story. Lincoln came from poverty and depression, yet he rewrote the narrative into leadership. Edison was told he was too dumb to learn, but he rewrote the narrative into innovation. Disney was told he lacked imagination, yet he rewrote the narrative into magic. They didn't accept the labels placed on them by small thinkers. They chose their own definitions. You must do the same. You must say, I am not my past. I am not my mistakes. I am not the opinions of people who settled. I am what I decide to believe today, right now, in this moment. Belief is not just positive thinking. It is identity installation. It's not about pretending. It's about choosing the mental software you will run your life on, and then acting in alignment with that identity until the old you is obsolete. Action is the amplifier of thought. Without action, thoughts remain theory. With action, thoughts become reality. If you think courage, but don't act, you're still stuck. If you think discipline, but don't move, you're still stagnant. If you think big, but act small, you stay small. So think bold and act bolder. The greats understood this. Carnegie didn't just imagine steel empires, he built them, one decision at a time. Ford didn't just visualize the assembly line, he created it, step by imperfect step. Edison didn't just think about the light bulb, he failed 10,000 times in pursuit of it. Because thought without action is fantasy, but thought with relentless action is power. Gratitude is part of mental mastery. Not soft, surface-level gratitude, but deep, strategic gratitude. Gratitude that says, I'm grateful for the opportunity to grow. I'm grateful for resistance because it makes me sharper. I'm grateful for the chance to become more than I was yesterday. Gratitude reframes challenges into gifts. It reprograms the mind to see obstacles as fuel, not failure. When you are grateful, you stop seeing life as something happening to you, and you start seeing it as something happening for you. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It's about rising through it. When life knocks you down, your mind decides if you stay there. Average thinkers blame the world. Master thinkers ask, how do I get stronger from this? This is not about motivation. Motivation is a spark. Mental mastery is a furnace. It burns daily. It's fed by discipline, belief, and vision. Discipline is thinking long-term when short-term temptation is screaming at you. It's choosing focus over distraction, purpose over pleasure, vision over comfort. The empire you're building begins in your head. It starts in silence, in solitude, in the moments when you choose to do the hard thing because you know who you are becoming. Learning is a tool of mental mastery. Never stop learning. The mind must be fed, sharpened, upgraded like any tool. If you stop learning, you start decaying. Stagnation is the beginning of decline. Leaders read, creators study. Masters of thought train the mind daily. Not because they are afraid of ignorance, but because they are obsessed with growth. Growth is the only guarantee of a meaningful life. If you're not growing, you're dying, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Your thoughts shape your vision. Your vision shapes your actions. Your actions shape your results. Your results shape your legacy. And it all begins in the mind. Most people let the world dictate their focus. You must become unavailable for distraction, unavailable for negativity, unavailable for small talk and small thinking. Guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Every morning you choose who you are, not someday, today, not when it's convenient, now. You choose to master your thoughts, or you choose to let the world do it for you. The mind is a kingdom. Be the ruler, not the servant. Master your thoughts, master your life, and never look back.